Hello dear students, welcome you all again to a class of English. And in the previous class we discussed about the chapter Footprints Without Feet, and we have seen or we have read that how a lawless person, Griffin, who was a great scientist, just misusing his rare invention for his personal usage, either for getting money or for getting home, or just he was troubling the people. Now let's see what happens next in the story. Then, to his amazement, he realized that the room appeared to be empty. He and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtains and even up the chimney. There wasn't a sign of anybody, yet the desk has been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. Extraordinary affair, the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day. But it was not as extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. So, to their surprise, they couldn't see anyone. They looked under the desk, behind the curtains, and also even up the chimney, but the person was nowhere to be seen. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was gone. Then the clergyman kept on saying that this was an extraordinary affair, that the whole day he was shocked by the incident. But the things that happened with Mrs. Hall's furniture were even more extraordinary than this one. Mrs. Hall and her husband woke up very early and were surprised as the door of the guest room was open. The landlord and his wife were get up early and were surprised to see the scientist Joe wide open. The landlord and his wife were up very early and were surprised to see the scientist Joe wide open. Usually it was shut and locked, and he was furious if anyone entered his room. The opportunity seemed too good to be missed. They peeped round the door, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. The bedclothes were cold, shivering, showing that the scientist must have been up for some time. And stranger still, the clothes and bandages that he always wore were lying about the room. Mrs. Hall and her husband woke up early and were surprised as the door to the guest room was open. Usually his door remained closed and locked. He used to get very angry. Who? Scientist Griffin. If anybody tried even entering his room, and it was an opportunity, and Mrs. Hall didn't want to miss it. So they just decided to investigate. When they saw that nobody was inside the room and his bed sheets were cold, which showed that he must have been up for a while, and also all the bandages that he used to tie around his face were all light around the room. So suddenly, let's see what happens in the next. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leaped up and dashed itself into her face. Then the bedroom chair became alive. Springing into the air, it charged terror. The extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room and then appeared to slam and lock the door after them. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in his tracks. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits and that the stranger had caused these to enter into her furniture. Suddenly, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear, and Griffin's hat that was lying on the bedpost flung towards Mrs. Hall and hit her on her face. Then the chair in the room dashed itself, hitting Mrs. Hall in her legs. As they got scared, Mrs. Hall and her husband were going out of the room when the chair closed the door, and suddenly a sound of slamming the door and locking was heard. And this really terrorized Mrs. Hall, and she was about to fall down from the stairs. My poor mother used to sit in that chair. She moaned to think it should rise up against me now. The feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft, but witchcraft or not. When news of the burglary at the clergyman's home became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected of having a hand in it. Suspicion grew even stronger when he suddenly produced some ready cash, though he had admitted not long before that he had no money. The village constable was secretly sent for. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist, who had somehow mysteriously appeared from his empty bedroom. I want to know what have you been doing to my chair upstairs, she demanded. And I want to know that is it you came out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room. As Mrs. Hall was about to fall down from the staircase and the stranger had caused this to happen, she moaned that her mother used to sit in the chair which hit her legs and thought that how could it rise up against her. The neighbors of Mrs. Hall thought that it was a witchcraft, it was a bad spirit which has caused such a thing to happen. When the news of the burglary at the clergyman's house reached other people in the town, everyone started suspecting the strange scientist. Even suspicion grew stronger on him when he produced ready cash for his payment at the inn, even though he had told some time back that he didn't have money and was waiting for a check to arrive. The village constable was called for, and Mrs. Hall didn't want to wait for time. She went straight to Griffin as she had appeared from the empty bedroom at the inn. She asked him what had he been doing upstairs to her chairs and furniture. The scientist was always quick-tempered. Now he became furious. You don't understand who or what I am, he shouted. Very well, I'll show you. Suddenly he threw off bandages, whiskers, spectacles, and even nose. It took him only a minute to do this. The horrified people in the bar found themselves staring at a headless man. Mr. Jeffers, the constable, now arrived and was quite surprised to find that he had to arrest a man without a head. But Jeffers was not easily prevented from doing his duty. If a magistrate's warrant ordered a person's arrest, then that person had to be arrested with or without his head. As the scientist was quick-tempered, short-tempered, so he became really angry and started shouting that they don't know that who or what he was, and then decided to show them about his truth. He removed his bandages, whiskers, spectacles, and also his false nose. It took him just a minute to do all this, and the people in the bar were horrified as they looked at the headless man. Mr. Jeffers, the constable of the village, was surprised as he saw that he had to arrest a man without any head. But Jeffers still wanted to do his duty, as he knew that the magistrate wanted him to arrest the person, and it didn't matter that he had a head or not. Then followed a remarkable scene as the policeman tried to get hold of a man. He was becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after another. Finally, a shirt flew into the air, and the constable found himself struggling with someone he couldn't see at all. Some people tried to help him, but he found themselves hit by blows that seemed to come from nowhere. In the end, Jeffers was knocked unconsciously as he made a last attempt to hold on the unseen scientist. There was nervousness, excited cries of "hold him," but this was easier said the intern. Griffin had shaken himself free and no one knew where to lay hands on. So there followed a remarkable scene as Griffin started becoming more and more invisible, and he started removing one cloth after the other as he was nowhere to be seen, and Jaffer was struggling to arrest a man who had become completely invisible. People who tried helping Jeffers were also struggling as they were hit by blows from nowhere. As Jeffers made his last attempt to catch hold of the invisible man, he was knocked unconscious by the invisible man. Everybody was shouting, "Hold him!" repeatedly. Everyone was shouting, but Griffin had set himself free from them, and nobody couldn't understand where was he, and he was just out of their catch, their hold. So, my dear students, you have seen that how a lawless person, a great scientist like Griffin, caused trouble to the people by his one incident or the other, and he was sometimes just stealing the money, the clothes, the eatables, and all that. So, this story teaches us a lesson that the laws, the science, the technology must be used for the welfare of the people, but not for the misusage or for the bad things. So, this is all about the story. So, my dear students, go through the story, read it carefully, and hope that you will have much better understanding about this topic. And I'm going to share few assignments with you related to this topic. Hopefully you will complete. So till the time, complete your work, stay safe, stay happy. Thank you.